In 2014, Volvo Cars revealed the second generation of their highly successful SUV, the Volvo XC90. 2014, back then we had iPhone 6, Obama was president of the US and Volvo Cars revealed this XC90. 10 years ahead in time, you join me over here, we're a bit south of Malmö in Sweden and test driving the second heavy facelift of the Volvo XC90. So today I'm taking you guys along for a trip in the new XC90 and we're going to find out if this car is an iPhone 6 with some upgrades or if this 10-year-old Volvo XC90 still has a place in 2024. Let's get started. So welcome on board the Volvo XC90. We're going on a small drive for now, taking you guys along. We've left from a very nice place here close to the Ålesund Bridge, that iconic bridge between Denmark and Sweden. We also drove over that from Copenhagen towards here, had lunch, and now, well, we're here, we're driving away. So XC90, today we are driving two versions. The first one is the B5 and B6 mild hybrid version, basically a petrol engine with 48 volts battery technique to improve efficiency. 247 horsepower or 297 horsepower. The B6 gets a supercharger, whilst the B5 just gets a normal turbocharger. They also have apparently an improved MP Miller cycle combustion thingy, which is better for the efficiency of the B5 and B6. Yeah, that's a petrol engine. That's probably interesting for North American viewers, the US, Canada. Over there you still see the B5 and B6, but here in Europe it's more and more focused on plug-in hybrids, the T8. So currently I'm also driving in the T8 plug-in hybrid XC90. And yeah, T8, perhaps you're hoping on a new version of that, because this is the facelift, this is a new XC90. But yeah, no, this is still the same T8. Now don't get me wrong, this is a very nice plug-in hybrid drivetrain. So let's give you guys some facts about that. Total system output 455 horsepower. That's a lot. That is more than sufficient, trust me. Also today in power and whatnot, this car can fly. That is partially thanks to an e-motor on the rear wheels, which is good for 145 horsepower. That is powered by a roughly 19 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is positioned over here underneath the middle tunnel on the center of the platform. And usable of that is about 14.5 kilowatt hour. That gives you WLTP range, or EPA, whatnot nowadays, about 70 full electric kilometers. Do you get that? Well, city driving, doing your groceries, going to the gym, then you will get that. But doing like only highway driving, you get about like, let's say 50 kilometers or so. Now you can charge up the battery with an onboard charger, which can do up to 6.4 kilowatt. That is AC two-phase charging. So in about 3 to 3.5 hours, you can charge up this car back to like 70 kilometers of electric range, which is a good thing, of course. Now, as I said already, this is not the updated T8 or new drivetrain. No, this is still that 3-layer battery pack. So about 2 years ago, maybe 3 already, something like that, Volvo came with an update to their plug-in hybrid drivetrains, the T6 and the T8, and they called it the 3-layer battery pack update. Basically, they were able to put more batteries over here in the middle tunnel whilst more or less keeping the same space. That really makes up for a really nice plug-in hybrid. For example, it also has this characteristic of being able to do one pedal driving. So if I put the shifter over here from D into B mode, then I am driving with one pedal. So if I go off the gas now, you notice that we start braking, and it comes to a complete standstill even. Back on the gas, and there we go. That really gives this electric driving experience to the XC90, and thanks to that 145 horsepower e-motor, yeah, you come along in traffic just fine. It is plenty of power, and then if really needed for an overtake or whatnot, then the petrol engine will also kick in and give you that more than 400 horsepower. Yeah, which just makes up for plenty of performance, SUV performance from this car. Now I am really hoping that Volvo will come soon with an updated battery or an updated plug-in hybrid drivetrain. I am kind of expecting that. Volvo indicated that they are working on improving their plug-in hybrids. So that sounds kind of hopeful. So perhaps they will come with a bigger battery pack, more electric range, perhaps DC charging then as well. But you know, time will tell. It is at least a good thing, I think, that Volvo is continuing to develop the plug-in hybrids, the T6 and the T8, whilst also, you know, making that shift towards full electric cars like the EX30 and EX90. So that is the drivetrain. Then driving-wise, do I really notice big differences? And yeah, I'm not too sure. I was just talking with some product experts from Volvo at lunch, and I said that I'm also, you know, the happy owner of a 2020 model year Volvo XC90 T8, also with all options, air suspension, Bowers & Wilkins, massage seats, and yeah, that I was a bit doubtful if I really noticed big differences. For my feeling, the air suspension on this one is a bit better. Drivetrain wise, as I said, nothing changed. That's still the same. As for the cockpit, the dashboard, yeah, also kind of feels the same. There's a new steering wheel, the new logo. There's a more horizontal line in the dashboard. You kind of notice that. It's a bit more bright, more lightful, maybe if I can call it like that. Still running on the Google Android Automotive system, so I still have a nice Google Maps over here, my driver's display. The big 11-inch touchscreen is a nice update, I gotta say. It's very clear, very bright, responsive. Nice big Google Maps on there, for example, and also Spotify, Bluetooth connectivity. Drive modes is constantly there as a button, which is a good thing. And then still there are also some physical buttons because this is a Volvo XC90 Spa platform. Still buttons on it. Yeah. The thing I do notice is stability and vibration wise, this car is maybe a bit better than my Volvo XC90 2020 model. The Spa platform is a bit notorious for being, well, prone to vibrations. Shaking steering wheel and those things, especially on the older models, of course. But this one really feels very solid, a very calm steering wheel, no vibrations at all. This one is running the 22-inch wheels, air suspension, so you would say that you feel big bumps, things like that, through the steering wheel, through the cabin. But that's not really the case. So in that regard, it feels a bit more comfortable and a bit more fluent, easy to drive. Now there's also extra sound insulation in the car, and you surely notice that there's extra acoustic foam on the A and the B pillars, for example. Yeah, you kind of notice that it's pretty quiet up in here. Now, are there any big cons on this drivetrain? Not really, I would say. There's one thing, that is when you go in a full kickdown with the T8, you'll notice that, of course, the petrol engine will kick in, which powers the front wheels. Do a full kickdown, all power comes on the front wheels, and then it just goes in one straight line like a big ocean-going vessel. You cannot turn a 10 all of a sudden. So then you really need to steer very hard to get the car out of the straight line the car is currently going or pulling you into. And then, you know, doing a takeover with a bit of kickdown becomes a bit tricky from time to time.
folks, so let's have a look at the exterior then of the facelift XC90. Over here we have one in denim blue metallic with the 21-inch wheels. This is a mild hybrid, the B5. But facelift wise, yeah, basically most things happened up front. So from the front towards the A-pillar, everything has changed. So for example, there's a new bonnet design, there are new side winglets over here in the vertical line. Also redesigned Thor hammer lamps, so still the iconic Thor hammers, but then a bit slimmer or smaller. Let me unlock the car once more because there's also a nice animation. There we go. Yeah, and a bit like the Volvo 60 series style, it's also now flown into the grille. Also a redesigned grille, nicely tucked away with that Volvo logo, new air intake. Yeah, basically just a very new front. Looking pretty cool, right? Then on the side of the car, not that much has changed. So there are new wheels. There's also a 20-inch wheel and a 22-inch wheel. The 20-inch version is standard for the Core. The 21 is standard for the Plus and Ultra. Now for the plug-in hybrid, there's also a new charging port. So for example, over there, there's one. Used to be a circle over here, now it's a bit of this square. I'm not sure if it has to do with potentially a DC charging capability, functionality in the future with the new T8. Who knows, let's see about that. But yeah, anyway, that also changed. Besides that, still the typical line of the XC90. Yeah, quite an iconic design, right? Then looking at the rear of the car, a small update. The tail light units. It's still the same, but then every chrome piece in here has been darkened by Volvo cars, and that gives, well, this effect of a standalone light in this unit. I'll be honest with you, yesterday we were driving behind some other new XC90s, and yeah, if you look at it, it doesn't really look that new. It does look a bit more sleek or chic perhaps, a bit like this Mercedes vibe I'm getting from it, but generally speaking, it's still the typical Volvo XC90 tail light. Anything else? No, not that much. By the way, this is a bright spec. So you have the chrome elements basically around the sills of the windows and such, lower trim as well. There's also a dark version. It used to be the former R design. Then all these pieces are gloss black and you also get a different front grille, bit of a more sporty style. Then also since model year 25, so also for the current XC90s, there's also new badging. So this is the B5, over there T8. But basically we went full circle 10 years back in time and we ended up with, once again, these badges and not anymore that white square with T8 recharge or T6 recharge in it. No, for some reason Volvo went back to it. So this one is rocking the herringbone textile interior. But first, let's have a look at a redesigned dashboard. So there's a more horizontal focus, apparently, on this redesigned dashboard. New materials being used, so some nice premium textiles over here. Light ash deco, there's also a dark ash deco. Also a new mesh for the Bowers and Wilkins system. May look a bit familiar. And yes, you're correct, this is the same mesh as from the Volvo EX90. They took inspiration from that. Also over here is that herringbone weave, premium textile, looking rather nice. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but there's this vertical herringbone line weave in it. Looks really nice. Now besides that then, the dark navy interior. This is an option which you pay a bit extra for. Looks quite nice. And I was talking with one of the designers yesterday of the Volvo team, and she also said like, there's also charcoal, you know, a black upholstery version available of it. But this dark blue, it gives a nice premium extra to the cabin of the car. And yeah, I think she's quite right in that. It looks very nice. Of course, there are also still some charcoal black parts over here in the middle tunnel. Now this one is a 7-seater. So 3 seats over here. And then if we like pull this forward, there are 2 seats. There we go, hidden over there. And otherwise you have a lot of trunk space. So for example, for the Netherlands market, where I'm from, the 7-seater is standard. And there's no option to go for a 5-seater or a 6-seater. Now for other markets, that option will be there. So for example, for the US probably, you'll also be able to opt for a 6-seater. Then they take out that middle one and you have 6 seats. Yeah, of course. In the car. So taking place in the XC90 cabin, it feels familiar. For example, the seats are still the same, nice seating position. But then looking over here, a new 11-inch touchscreen. Quite big, it's standing out a bit. So if you look at the side from it, you really see that it's, well, sticked onto the dashboard more or less. It's faster, it's more responsive, high density, high pixel density and whatnot. Yeah, and it works pretty well. It's running on the new user interface based on the Google Android Automotive version of the EX90 and EX30. So that also looks quite familiar. All kinds of applications, YouTube, Apple CarPlay is there, Spotify, there's a browser, Waze, and so on. Now to go back to the home screen, you tap this bar over here. So tap it once and there you go. If you tap it another time, then some things will disappear over here. And you will stick with the, I think Volvo calls it the contextual bar. So the car will kind of guess what you are looking for at this moment and put it over here. Yeah, over here, for example, are now the settings. Sounds, I was fooling around with the Bowers & Wilkins, of course. Hey, what are you doing? Oh yeah, settings. So all kinds of settings are over here. Now there's good news about this system because Volvo will push this system to all current Volvo Google cars as well. So for example, if you are driving an XC60 or V60 with the Google infotainment, model year 23 or 24, then next year you will receive an over-the-air update with this new software system as well. That's pretty nice, right? Now a thing I also like is that the screen is a bit more tilted towards you. For my own XC90 I also experienced that the screen is a bit far back, tilted a bit backwards. It's a big car, of course, so you really need to reach for the screen. And now because it's also a bit bigger and a bit, well, sticked onto it, it's a bit more closer for you to operate. Volvo also designed this software system to make it as easy as possible. So taking you as few taps as possible to go to the option you're looking for. For example, over here, tap once, and then over here you can adjust the heated steering wheel, the heated seats, the temperature, and so on. Ventilation, it's all within one tap reach. Now besides the updated dashboard and the new system and the screen, there's also an updated middle console or middle tunnel over here. We still see some familiar elements like these buttons, the start stop engine, the reverse Sweden gear shifter, crystal shifter. That's still the same. But then there's quite a big storage cabin now over here. This one is a bit smaller for the plug-in hybrid, just keep that in mind. Also 2 USB-C ports, one for Apple CarPlay by cable, not wireless, I'm sorry. Then over here, open this up, there are 3 cup holders, basically 2. And then there's still space for one small can, but more or less still just for 2 big cups. The wireless charger has been moved over here, a nice part. It's tilted a bit backwards, so you slide your phone in it and it stays in its spot. It will not really move around, so that's a good thing. And if I recall correctly, it also has like a cooling element in it that your phone will not overheat. Something like that. So yeah, that's also redesigned. And then still also some familiar parts, right? So this is still the same. The button over here for the glove box compartment, which works with a button because I don't know why. But yeah, all in all, it's a nice update. They really looked at the essentials and gave that an update. Steering wheel is also a bit refreshed. I think this one is rocking like the vegan leather. And then the new Volvo logo is also on here. Also on the key, by the way. Let me grab that. Ta-da, the plastic key, and then with that new logo on it. This used to be leather wrapped or in the same style as your leather upholstery. But those times are past, I guess. Those air fans are still the same. These are also updated, of course, because also because of the new screen over there. Now the car we're driving today is an Ultra, meaning this is the most luxurious spec. There are 3 trim levels. There's a Core, a nice standard version of the XC90, probably good for like business drivers, lease drivers and such. Then there's Plus, which will set you up pretty well already with nice features, all the essentials, but also the Harman Kardon sound system, the parking assist, but also all safety systems, for example. If you want to take it to the next level, then there's the Ultra, where I'm sat in. Then you also get, for example, the sunroof, the head-up display, And the nubuck headliner used to be a very rare option on the XC90. Now it's standard on all Ultras, so that's nice. Also the leather wrapped, I guess leather wrapped, they used to be leather wrapped, sun visor and also the handles over here somewhere. Yeah, that's all leather wrapped, or perhaps that's now vegan leather, I'm not too sure about that, with some nice stitching. So yeah, that's Ultra. Then there are still some options as well. For example, the laminated glass, the Bowers & Wilkins system, the air suspension, all options which will, well, probably push you over 100,000 euros. Dollars, I'm not too sure, will be a bit less, of course. But yeah, you can really spec out this car. Then it does become a bit of an expensive car. But you can also go for a plus in a nice standard color, vapor gray metallic, with the 21-inch wheels. And then you also already have a very nicely spec'd XC90. So then to conclude, perhaps also good to mention is that the XC90 is really focused on practicality, right? It's a real family vehicle, family SUV. It's not the most sportiest, maybe not the coolest or with the best sounding engine or whatnot, but it's just a really functional vehicle. I mean, look at this, plenty of trunk capacity over here. There's still a floor underneath. This nice grocery holder is still there. This thing has been here for ages. There's a tow hook, electronically working. And then of course, still 2 seats hidden over here as well. It's just a really nice space. Maybe let's see if the Spider is still hidden over here in these cups. And yeah, there is the Spider, it's still over there. Nice to see that the Volvo didn't budget cut on that, that's funny. Yeah. So there are still, you know, practicality-wise, some hooks over here, like hidden, nicely chrome over there as well. I use those, for example, also for our dog bench, the Thule Alex dog bench, to tie it up properly in the back. To close it, of course, some buttons, also the hands-free. Then also comfort-wise for the kids or what's not in the back, there are these shades. So that's of course nice to have. There is the booster cushion over here. And see, there we go. And then you fold that back up like this. Oh, that's hard with one hand. Yeah, also heated seats, which you can use or adjust over there. Also temperature can be changed by the passengers over here in the back. There's ISOFIX. The Bowers & Wilkins system is also over here. You can also electronically fold down the headrests over here if you want to have more view, if you, for example, are driving yourself. So there we go, folks. That is the first test drive with the facelift Volvo XC90. General conclusion, still the same car. On the exterior part, it's not the same car, surely updated, looking very good. Driving-wise, just still very nice, very solid. It's just a very nice update to pull this car into 2024. No, it's not an iPhone 6. I think it's still a very relevant car for this year, for the car industry, and especially customers who might not be ready yet for full electric vehicles like the EX90. Then the plug-in hybrid T8 or this B5 maybe is a nice step towards electrification in your, well, maybe 90s series journey with Volvo cars. That being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe, also like the video. Questions, comments, leave them down below and I'll get back to you. Also follow me on Instagram at thom.love. I shared plenty of things about this car and also about the T8 over there on the channels over there, on my channel over there. So make sure you also check that out, follow me over there. That being said, signing off from Malmö, Sweden. Time to go back to the airport, catch a flight back to Amsterdam. And then probably next time we'll see this car back on the channel in the Netherlands. We'll have a bit more time. I'll explain the software, the systems, everything a bit more. But that being said, thank you so much for watching and see you guys very soon. Bye bye.